fighting and...
The K2 Storm Alert Weather Team, only on K2 News.
Tonight, shipping out. A week after the bombing began, the U.S. military begins pulling trapped Americans out of Lebanon, where the damage is staggering. How long will Israel's offensive last? Air war. Tonight, we are in the skies over the Israeli-Lebanese border and in the cities under siege. Stem cell showdown, a furious argument on Capitol Hill. Would further research save lives or take lives? And mercy or murder? A doctor and 2 nurses, saviors during Katrina, are today charged with murdering their patients. And a prosecutor asks, did they think they were God?
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight with Charles Gibson. Reporting tonight from the Middle East.
Good evening. Good evening. Again tonight from Jerusalem. The conflict between Israeli forces and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon is now a week old. There is no end in sight. Leaders around the world talk about ways the crisis might be resolved, but for now, Israel is very obviously being given time to carry out its campaign to cripple Hezbollah and drive it back from Israel's northern border. As for today's principal events in the region, Israeli warplanes were back in the air today, hitting a Lebanese army base, among other targets, and killing 11 Lebanese soldiers. Israel's prime minister has taken aim at Iran, which finances Hezbollah, accusing it of direct involvement in the kidnapping of 2 Israeli soldiers, while President Bush accused Hezbollah's other sponsor, Syria, of trying to get its troops back into Lebanon. Hezbollah itself fired fewer missiles at Israel today, but those it did fire were aimed again at Haifa, Israel's 3rd largest city. And after what must have seemed like an interminable wait, Americans are beginning now to get out of Lebanon. And it is to the evacuation of Americans from Lebanon and the situation in that country that we first. Other nations have been much more prompt in getting their citizens out of harm's way, but now, better late than never, Americans began leaving in large numbers. And ABC's David Wright is in Beirut.
Good evening, Charlie. Just a few moments ago, the airstrikes resumed here in Beirut, but all day long, it's been an extraordinarily quiet day. During daylight hours, not a single bomb fell on this city for the first time in a week. And there's no coincidence there. Israel was well aware that today, Americans were on the move. Today, a lucky few U.S. citizens got to leave this war-torn country. 120 Americans suited up for a one-way ticket out. But most Lebanese have no escape from this. Today's brief lull in this city gave journalists their first glimpse into South Beirut, the area hit hardest by Israel's bombs. Beirut's most densely populated neighborhood, and its poorest, has been a no-go area for days. Lebanese officials say Israel has inflicted billions of dollars in damage. Outside Beirut, there's been no let-up in the bombing. In the south, 12 civilians from 2 families were killed when an Israeli warplane hit their minivan with a missile. In the north, today, an estimated 50,000 people managed to make it across the border into Syria, many of them exhausted and angry.
They are killing us like animals in Lebanon. They are killing us like animals in Lebanon.
But today, Israel began choking off even the smallest roads and targeting trucks coming across from the Syrian side. The pretext? They might be carrying rockets for Hezbollah. But today, one of the vehicles Israel hit was part of a Red Crescent convoy carrying much-needed medical supplies into Lebanon. Many Americans here feel shocked. Today, hundreds clogged the embassy gates, clamoring to leave. Most will have to wait. There's a perception out there that this is really taking too long.
You know, our interest was safe travel, and that takes a little bit of time.
As she prepared to leave, Nisreen Saleh told me she'll always be haunted by what she's seen this past week.
This is what you don't see in America. You see, they show you the people's bodies just completely dissembled, and you know, people like shoveling through trucks of bodies, trying to find a piece of their daughter or son or mother or father. And it's so sad because you don't see that in America.
They feel guilty to be going, guilty and grateful to leave all this behind. David Wright, ABC News, Beirut.
For the Americans who are getting out of Lebanon, the first stop is Cyprus, an island in the Mediterranean about 100 miles west of Beirut. After their week of waiting, the first arrived today, and ABC's Jim Sciutto is there.
The first Americans arrived in Cyprus as guests on a ferry chartered by France and in small groups on a handful of U.S. military helicopters. A few hundred of an estimated 25,000 Americans were out of Lebanon safely. All this was painfully familiar to one American more than any other. We were amazed to meet Joseph Sicipio, a hostage for 5 years during Lebanon's civil war.
We all thought the place was peaceful now, that time, the time of hostages, was long past.
We all believed that. I did. But then Lebanon itself, just in one day, died.
After Joseph and his wife Elham were reunited in 1991, they returned to Lebanon many times, thinking war had ended for good.
We thought that we had paid the price. I mean, Lebanon went through a lot. And I don't know why our destiny is always to pay the price.
The U.S. is now organizing a mass exodus for those left behind, mobilizing 9 ships. The Orient Queen leaving Beirut tomorrow morning with as many as 1,000 Americans. A Saudi ferry to carry another 750. And 7 naval warships for support and perhaps a signal to Hezbollah not to interfere. The French government rented this Greek ferry to evacuate its citizens. It's already preparing for its second trip back. Ships carrying Greek and Italian citizens are expected here shortly. The first ship carrying large numbers of American citizens will not arrive till tomorrow. And for many, that delay has added days of fear and frustration. The Sicipios are among the lucky ones who got out early. But tonight, Joseph told us he hopes to return.
Hopefully I will be able to get back one of these days, peacefully.
Jim Sciutto, ABC News, Larnaca, Cyprus.
Next, the situation here in Israel. As we mentioned earlier, there were fewer Hezbollah missiles fired into the country today, but many of those that did come were again aimed at the country's third largest city of Haifa. And ABC's Dan Harris is there. Dan?
Charlie, good evening from a normally bustling city that tonight is essentially on lockdown. Hezbollah hit not only Haifa today, but also cities and towns across northern Israel. The worst attacks were in the northern city of Nahariya, where missiles punctured homes and slammed into streets. One man reportedly died while helping his family into a bomb shelter. Further south in Haifa, more missiles again today, frightening but not fatal. At an airbase nearby, one commanding officer claimed Israeli warplanes are preventing Hezbollah from firing as many rockets as they once could. The officer, whose identity we cannot reveal for security reasons, says he has seen the images of civilian suffering in Lebanon. Does that go through your mind when you're firing off missiles?
In the matter of fact, yes. It's not give me a big smile to know what we are doing there, but this is part of the job.
The Israeli said one precondition for ending the pounding is the release of 2 soldiers kidnapped by Hezbollah last week. Today, the family of First Sergeant Ehud Goldwasser made this plea directly to his captors.
Please, we want a sign. We want any sign from him that he's alive.
Goldwasser is a newlywed, married just 10 months ago.
When you found out that your son had been taken, as a mother, what is that moment like?
It's a moment that there is no word to explain. I know that he hears me, and I send him all my strength.
One more note on the atmosphere here in northern Israel. So many people have evacuated their homes so quickly that there are farmers' crops quite literally rotting in the fields and family pets roaming through the streets, left behind, untended. Charlie?
Dan Harris reporting tonight from Haifa. With rockets that can reach farther into Israel than ever before, Hezbollah has redrawn the map of this conflict, but the front line remains the border between Israel and Lebanon, or the Blue Line as it's called. I traveled there today with one of Israel's top commanders. To get a sense of the situation in the north of Israel, we traveled to the area with the Israeli military.
We are flying right now about 6 miles south of the Blue Line. That is the Israeli-Lebanese border. It is obviously the area of contention for the last week. We're in an Israeli helicopter. General Ido Nikoshtan of the Israeli Air Force has come up for a first-hand look himself and has brought us along. We have been flying over the cities of Haifa and Nahariya, cities that have been hit in the last few days by the rockets launched by Hezbollah from just north of the border.
Again, you see the city is empty. Actually, it's not moving, it's not alive. You take an entire population of the city as a hostage. This is the essence of terrorism.
For perhaps 20 minutes, we flew right along the Lebanese border and then landed near the headquarters of the Israeli Northern Command and went in for a briefing from General Shuki Shirur. So how effective in 7 days have you been?
I don't want to give marks to ourselves. On the other hand, every place that we know that this is Hezbollah infrastructure with not civilian involved, and there are a lot of them, with these we were so far very successful. Some of the launchings are starting to push back and to shoot from northern parts. By that, we gain. So a rocket that is shoot from here and arrive to Haifa, if you push him to launch from here, he will arrive only 30 kilometers from the border. So we put a lot of effort on that.
The general said they've counted 850 rockets fired into Israel so far, all at civilian targets. In the first 2 days of conflict, there were 300 a day. In recent days, far less. The critical question pending, can the Israelis achieve their goal of crippling Hezbollah strictly from the air? Or will they need to go in with ground forces?
Ground forces are ready to do whatever it takes. Time will tell. The ground forces are ready, but time will tell.
After the briefing, we drove further north and looked directly across the border into Lebanon. Standing there, you're right in the line of fire, but it looks almost peaceful. Hard to believe you're in the hottest spot in the world. Also in the Middle East today, in Iraq, an horrific suicide bombing. In a Shiite city south of Baghdad, a man drove to a site where laborers gather and lured them toward his van with promises of work. And then he blew himself up. 53 people died, more than 100 were injured. One other story from Iraq tonight, officials there say that one of the killers who brutally butchered 2 captured U.S. soldiers in June was killed in a clash with security forces. And hundreds of bodies have been recovered in Indonesia, a day after a powerful tsunami flattened homes and resorts on Java Island. More than 340 people have been killed and at least another 230 are missing. Bodies are piling up at makeshift morgues as the death toll pushes higher. An undersea earthquake registering 7.7 triggered the tsunami, and Indonesia's government now admits it received disaster warnings but did not pass them on to the threatened area. At the end of the broadcast tonight, we're going to have a final note from the Middle East, but when we come back, the day's other news. Was it murder or a mercy killing? Hospital staffers charged in the deaths of patients trapped during Hurricane Katrina. And a clash of religion, science, and politics. The Senate votes to expand stem cell research, setting up a showdown with President Bush.
This is World News Tonight, brought to you by Transitions.
In the future, everyone will protect their eyes from sun damage like they protect their skin. Transitions lenses. They automatically adjust to changing light and block harmful UV rays and glare. So don't wait until tomorrow. The danger is here today, and so is the protection. Ask your eye care professional about Transitions. Insist that your lenses come with a Transitions certificate of authenticity.
If you've had a heart attack that reduced how well your heart pumps, hear this. Your heart medications may not be enough protection. Coreg is FDA approved to increase your chance of survival when taken over time. Adding Coreg to your current treatment can help prevent another heart attack. Coreg reduces your heart's workload to help it pump better. That should be music to your ears.
Coreg is not for everyone, including people prone to asthma, certain heart rhythm problems, slow heart rate, or liver problems. Once you start Coreg, you should continue as directed by your doctor. Patients who abruptly stop may experience chest pain or an increased risk of heart attack. In some cases, patients may experience dizziness or faintness when starting Coreg. You should avoid driving or hazardous tasks if this occurs.
Ask your doctor if Coreg is right for you. Adding Coreg adds cardio protection.
Burning, itching, but the pain's the worst. I should have used
Preparation H Cream. Burning, itching, plus maximum strength pain relief on contact. The most complete relief from Preparation H. Pain relief on contact.
Have 50,000, going once, twice, sold to the gentleman in the center.
I want to go ahead and sell it now.
Constantly buying and selling stocks doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones advises clients to buy long-term investments.
My attitude is I am a 61-year young woman with diabetes. I found a better attitude when it comes to eating.
New One Touch Ultra 2 with before and after meal averages can help you see how food affects your blood sugar.
I can enjoy food again. I'm taking control.
One touch changes everything, yeah.
It has been another day of punishing heat across the U.S. These are just some of the triple-digit readings this afternoon. Heat advisories and warnings were posted today from coast to coast. At least 4 deaths have been blamed on the heat, and the weather is suspected in at least 3 others. Some zoos have temporarily closed, and power grids serving the Northeast, the Midwest, and California all have reported record demand. In New Orleans tonight, an extraordinary story. A doctor and 2 nurses stand accused of murder, charged with killing hospital patients trapped in the frantic aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The 3 allegedly gave fatal drug overdoses to 4 patients at Memorial Medical Center. When the floodwaters rose, the temperature soared, and the rescuers didn't come. ABC's Mike Von Frem tonight in New Orleans.
The staff and 200 patients at Memorial Medical Center were desperate. They went 4 days without electricity, and temperatures in rooms soared to well over 100 degrees. 34 patients died, and now prosecutors say at least 4 patients were intentionally put to death by medical staff who, quote, pretended that maybe they were God.
This is not euthanasia. This is a homicide.
Arrested and charged with second-degree murder are nurses Lori Budo, Sherry Landry, and Dr. Anna Poe, who talked about the ordeal in an interview in December.
We all did everything within our power to give the best treatment that we could to the patients in the hospital to make them comfortable.
But prosecutors say tissue samples show the accused injected 4 patients with a combination of morphine and a drug called midazolam.
When you use both of them together, it becomes a lethal cocktail that guarantees they're going to die.
In a statement, Dr. Poe's attorney says she did not engage in any criminal activity. The question is, did the accused consider this an act of mercy?
This is a genuine, complex ethical dilemma. What should a physician do with a dying patient in a situation of utter catastrophe?
Angela McManus's 70-year-old mother was one of those who died in the hospital.
They should not be able to determine when somebody lives and when somebody dies and who they are. I mean, you know, that was just wrong.
If convicted of second-degree murder, the doctor and nurses could be sentenced to life in prison. Mike Von Frem, ABC News, New Orleans.
And coming up, supporters of embryonic stem cell research savor a victory that the president vows will be short-lived.
Ask me.
Ask me.
If I don't bring it up, you bring it up.
Let's not wait until you've lost any more bone.
Let's not wait till you break a bone.
You're a busy woman.
Osteoporosis is serious business because it can get worse. But bone loss can be reversed. Fosamax Plus D treats postmenopausal osteoporosis. It actually helps reverse bone loss. It helps prevent hip and spine fractures.
Plus, it's got vitamin D.
You shouldn't use Fosamax Plus D if you have certain disorders of the esophagus.
You have to be able to stand or sit upright for 30 minutes.
If you have severe kidney disease or low blood calcium, you shouldn't take Fosamax Plus D. It's not for vitamin D deficiency.
Tell me about your stomach and digestive problems and your medications. Vitamins and supplements, too.
Stop taking Fosamax Plus D and call me right away if you get heartburn or it gets worse, or swallowing becomes difficult or painful, or if you have chest pain. These could be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
So call me. Make an appointment.
Give me a call. We'll talk about it.
Ask me. Ask me about Fosamax Plus D. Bone loss can be reversed. Ask me.
It's our red, white, and blue tag sale. Save 10, 20, up to 40% throughout the store. Carpet, tile, hardwood, area rugs, everything on sale.
Marion's has a huge selection.
And our low price guarantee. Dial 503 Carpets.
Heart beats 2 billion times. The heart is amazing, but high cholesterol can lead to heart disease. Lipitor can help. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Lipitor significantly lowers bad cholesterol, 39 to 60%. If you have several common risk factors for heart disease, Lipitor is clinically proven to reduce your risk of heart attack. And more cardiologists surveyed said they'd prescribe Lipitor for their own families than any other cholesterol-lowering brand. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. They may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Lipitor is one of many treatment options to consider with your doctor. It's your heart. Ask if Lipitor is right for you.
Visit Lipitor.com for a free trial. When Uncle Ernie got heartburn, I handed him Pepsid Complete. Only Pepsid Complete starts to neutralize acid on contact and keeps heartburn from coming back all day or all night. So Uncle Ernie was in Mushu heaven. Pepsid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
Crisis and chaos in the Middle East. Tomorrow, as the attacks continue, Charles Gibson reports live from Cyprus, on the ground with thousands of evacuated Americans. Hear what they have to say. Tomorrow, only on World News Tonight, your trusted source.
In Washington today, the Senate defied President Bush and voted to expand funding for embryonic stem cell research. Scientists believe such research can lead to treatments, even cures for many diseases. The stem cells would be drawn from unused embryos at fertility clinics. Thus, the controversy, because embryos would be destroyed in the process. Here's ABC's senior national correspondent, Jake Tapper.
It was an emotional debate.
Do we use taxpayer dollars, federal taxpayer dollars, to destroy young human life for research purposes?
It offers a new hope, Mr. President, for patients, for grandmothers and grandfathers, children, daughters, mothers, fathers.
And now it will likely be President Bush's first veto, as the president takes a stand against the House, the Senate, and polls say around 60% of the public.
This issue pits those who agree with the president that the embryos are human life against the medical community, which argues they are crucial to the potential cures for diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Every day I think about what life would be like to be just a kid, free from diabetes.
The medical argument resonates with swing voters. Republicans worry this issue could hurt them.
There's so many divisive issues that are causing Republicans to pull apart. You don't need another one right now.
After all, even many who oppose abortion oppose the president on this.
Being pro-life is being concerned about the living as well.
The president insists his mind is made up. Supporters do not have enough votes to override what is likely to be the president's very first veto. Jake Tapper, ABC News, Washington.
And when we return, how one bank in the war zone keeps the money flowing when the missiles are flying.
My kids call me the finisher.
Finish up in there.
Okay.
Finish your homework?
Yes.
Finish your vegetables. Something I thought I was finished with? Managing my acid reflux disease.
I thought it was just bad heartburn, but my doctor said over time, stomach acid was damaging the lining of my esophagus. She prescribed Nexium, said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. One prescription Nexium pill a day not only relieves my heartburn, it healed erosions in my esophagus. So I don't just feel better, I am better. And with the Purple Plus program, I get advice on nutrition, exercise, even ways to save on Nexium. My doctor did say headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium, and other serious stomach conditions may still exist.
Talk to your doctor about the healing Purple Pill.
I tell him you shouldn't do anything halfway. Let's finish up.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
The human body was designed to move. That's why Serenity developed a revolutionary fabric for their protective underwear that stretches in every direction to gently hug your body for a closer fit than the leading protective underwear. Serenity Discreet Activewear. You move, they move. You're protected. For a free sample, call 1-877-GET-TENA. Serenity from TENA.
To increase skin's radiance, dermatologists recognize Aveeno Positively Radiant Moisturizers. The soy complex is clinically proven to improve the key elements of radiance, including fine lines, sunspots, and blotchiness.
Can your moisturizer do that?
Aveeno Positively Radiant.
My life is more than I expected, so it's a good thing there's Caltrate. It does more than I expected.
Introducing new Caltrate, now with more vitamin D. It helps keep bones strong and your colon healthy.
Bring it on!
New Caltrate, more than you expect.
If you're over 50 and have other risk factors, you already face a greater risk of a heart attack. Ask your doctor how Bayer Low-Dose can help prevent 1 in 3 heart attacks. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. She reduced her risk with Bayer, working wonders every day.
The latest look in fiber is showing up everywhere. All-natural Benefiber, the first fiber supplement that's tasteless and dissolves completely, so you can put it in whatever foods you fancy, even water. Benefiber, the latest look in fiber.
Next on the Northwest Only All Local Evening Newscast, K2 helps police arrest a sex offender who disappeared from a transitional home, why he's more dangerous than other offenders, plus the latest on efforts to find the family of an injured cyclist.
Finally tonight, something we didn't know, that the practice of banking began here in the Middle East thousands of years ago. Well, now the Israelis are tweaking that practice a bit. There is this problem up north in Israel. Shops, stores, even banks are closed down with all those missile alerts. So how to get money? Well, when the going gets tough, Bank Hapoalim gets going. They've put a full-service bank on wheels.
We are driving from each town to give service for the people that they cannot use the bank.
This was today's stop in Nahariya, a few miles from the Lebanon border, and customers lined up.
What we can do? We don't have any option.
The bank has advertised in local papers all week. The Workers' Bank. We work for you, it says. And there's a phone number to tell residents when the money mobile will be in their town. Good luck getting through. This is obviously a popular idea. But you might ask, what happens if the bank falls victim to a missile hit?
If there will be a bomb, we will stop, and then we will start again.
In times of war, people adapt. Life goes on. You can bank on it. And that is World News Tonight for this Tuesday. I'm Charles Gibson in Jerusalem. I'll be reporting from the region again tomorrow night. For all of us at ABC News, have a good evening and good night.
Tonight, ABC takes you where Idol has never gone. A new competition where you'll see everything. And we mean everything. The One, Making a Music Star, premieres tonight 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Now, on K2 News at 6:30, a statewide warning goes out about a sex offender on the run. Why police say this man is so dangerous, they're afraid he could turn into a killer. Plus, he's been missing for 2 weeks, how a Vancouver nurse's disappearance could impact patients at his adult care facility. And getting more people to recycle, how possible changes to Oregon's bottle bill could affect your pocket change.
Live at 6:30, K2 News, the spirit of the Northwest.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Deborah Knapp. Our top local story, K2 helps police track down a dangerous sex offender hiding in downtown Portland. He disappeared from a transitional house in Bend 2 weeks ago and may have homicidal tendencies. K2's Derek Skiva is the one that called 911. He joins us live in the newsroom with this story. Derek?
Well, we were researching a story about a level 3 sex offender believed to be in the Portland area, and I heard from a parole supervisor in Bend that he may stay at downtown homeless shelters here in Portland. We took this photograph along with us, and with the help from a couple of people at the Portland